Hi, everybody. This is James M. Prague. How are you? Happy Soul Care Day. Happy Monday, the 10th of May. I think it is. I'm getting better with my days. I hope you are too. But it's very interesting with walking out into the public. Have you guys been out in the public lately? It's been very interesting. People are funny. People are still trying to come back into the human race in ways, and it's so fascinating. So I'm just demonstrating kindness everywhere I go. So we're going to take a little bit just to get everybody, notify everybody that I'm on Soul Care today. Is Debbie? Hi, Debbie. We're waiting for you. And Sarah Stone. Hello, Stacy. So I just finished creating an opening for the show. Hello, Lynn. Hello, Sheila. Hello, Jacqueline. Hello, Susan. And it's going to be cute. So just finished that, sending that to my editor, and it's going to be probably a couple of weeks. We'll have the opening of the Soul Care show. It's very, very cute. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Kim. Hi, Barb. Hi, Janine. There we go. Okay, yay, new comments. There we go. Hope you're all having a great day. You've had a great weekend. I know here in the United States it was Mother's Day, and I hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day, whether your mother was here or in the spirit world. And hopefully you felt, if she was in the spirit world, you felt her around you. Good day. Good day, Leanne from Australia. I spent the time in Palm Springs, which I thought was very interesting. It's become a little Disneylandish. It's become very much a lot of families and strollers and kids, and it was so crowded that I ended up walking in the street to get from one place to another because it was so crowded. But it's so fun how every day there's such a synchronistic experiences or coincidences, we call them, with how the spirit world guides us and leads us, and the intelligence of that world is so amazing. I haven't been out in so long and among people, and I just kind of observed everything, and I just was totally in observation mode. And you learn so much when you're in observation mode. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Carolyn from England. My goodness. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Tricia. Thanks for joining me. Beyond with James and Prague. You bet. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks for being me. And I was in total observation mode in Palm Springs, and it was so funny. I went there for the intention of helping a friend out. She was having a reading of a play that she was asked to do, and I went to support her. And I went and bought a couple of pieces of clothing. So I haven't been out in stores in 43 years. And afterwards, I felt, well, I should get some lunch before I go to this reading, the show. So I crossed over to this across the street, and if guided by spirit, I felt like a sandwich, and there was a sandwich shop. It's a sign said sandwich shop, and it was down this alleyway. So I was like, oh, great. So there it was. I was at the sandwich shop. And I just opened them, and I said to some people, there's this lady, I said, oh, you have beautiful eyes. She said, thank you. And I know people aren't used to interacting, of course, yet, because they've been in their houses for so long, their spaces. So it's interesting to people's reactions because they're not used to that human interaction, I guess. So she was very appreciative. I just said, I said, well, every moment counts. And when I have that moment there, when I see someone I want to say something positive to, I do. So I say that. So I was getting my sandwich, waiting for the sandwich to be made. And I'm looking across this space there, this alley, and there was a gallery, an art gallery. They were doing an installation, and there was a man standing in the doorway. And it was very interesting because the man looked at me, and I looked at him and said, hi, how are you doing today in this lovely art gallery? He goes, how are you doing, James? I said, I'm fine. How do you know me? He goes, James, we've met before in San Francisco back in 1989. And I said, and it was funny because I felt familiar. I guess we had a mutual friend that I didn't remember because I meet a lot of people. And he said, yes, I know that because your name is James and my name is James. And then you went into the psychic business. I said, yeah, that's right. That's about right. So, and that was the only person I met that week, this weekend there. So it was very nice to meet him again. You never know. You just never know. It's just so funny. Me too. Yay. New Zealand. Gabrielle Stewart from New Zealand. I watched a lovely video this weekend on New Zealand. I've never been to New Zealand. I want to go to New Zealand. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world based on those videos that I was watching on YouTube. It was just so pretty. So good for you to live in New Zealand, boy. What a pretty, pretty place. The puppies got their names. Yes, we did vote on the vote. I decided on the puppies' names because we asked everybody in Facebook, and all over really, TikTok and Instagram. But the names, we had a lot of great names. So thanks to everybody. We had like with Ginger Rogers was in the friend Ginger was one. Salt and Pepper was one. There were so many. Fiona and something else. There's some really fun ones. Red and Blue, Mr. and Mrs. There was just some really cute ones. But I actually decided on Minnie and Pearl, based upon the stand-up comic. A lot of you probably don't know her, but she was very well known in the '60s on the show Hee Haw in the '70s, and she was a stand-up comedian from the South. And she would come on stage and she would wear a hat with this shopping tag, the sale tag still on it. And it was Minnie Pearl. And I remember her as a child, and she used to come out, she used to say, "Howdy." And it's like she's still wearing that tag on her hat. And that was her shtick, as they say. And I always loved her. And so I thought Minnie and Pearl. So actually, it's very interesting enough. I was talking to a producer here, Renee, beforehand, and he said I should share the story about what happened. So, my beloved Maisie, who passed in January, I always asked her to, if she wanted me to have another dog, she'd bring the dogs, or bring the dog, and she did. She actually was very involved in bringing Minnie and Pearl to me in a very strange way, but and I can't go into it now, but maybe later, another time. But suffice it to say that I've been feeling her ever since she passed over. I felt her jump on me usually when I'm driving my car, and not all the time, but I'll feel her and she'll look at my face. I know that she's connected with me. And then I don't know if I told you this last week, but I didn't see her for a couple of weeks or whatever it was, and then I got a sense of her in the house and then in my garden and with the two puppies. And they were just running all over the place, and they're puppies. They were running with her, and it was kind of like these lights. And I think I told you this last week. I mentioned this to you guys, but it was really interesting. And I knew that she was getting them ready for them to be here. I know she's a mama. I call her mama, and she would do that. So then this weekend at Palm Springs, I'm driving back from Palm Springs yesterday afternoon. In the middle of my drive, Maisie comes to me, and she looks at my face. "Oh, Maisie, mama, how you been, honey?" And she looked at me, and her energy was so depleted. I'm like, "What happened to you?" And she just laid down there on the seat, which looked like she was laying in the seat. And I knew that she was depleted energetically from working with the puppies the past week and a half, working with them and staying with them and energizing them and helping them and so forth on that level. So that was really wild. I thought, well, that's really interesting. Like, wow. And it was just something I'd never heard of before. So it was fascinating. So my producer Renee, he wanted me to share that story with you. And I think it's a fascinating story. It's a really interesting story that she was just worn out from working with the puppies. So after they get here, expect me to be like that too. No, so I think it'll go really well. And so it'll be fun. Hello, Helen. Hello, Emil. Bev. Hello, Jean. Hello. Um, last Friday, yes, last Friday was my the demonstration I did. I did a demonstration Friday night here on Facebook and Zoom. It went really well. I love doing them. They're just great. And one of the things that came through, which blew me away, was they always blow me away. And everybody in the group really were blown away. You could just tell everybody was very satisfied and really happy. And I remember one of the readings. I don't know if the lady is here or not, but it was someone whose parents or relatives came through, and they then went on, said all these details, and they said, "We're from the covered wagon days. We were prairie people." And this lady on Zoom acknowledged, because yes, my relatives are prairies. They're from they're covered wagons. They came to South Dakota in covered wagons. It's exactly right. So that was fascinating. Oh, you always learn something new in those. So that was really interesting. Um, Oh, okay. And so the next one I'm going to be doing is May 20th, and it's a VIP, which means it's limited seating. And I do one reading right after the other. I did about 20 readings last time. So, and it's really for everybody in the room. I mean, you'll all get something. So if there is a limited space, the next one I'm doing is May 20th. So I will be doing another that one. And they do go fast. The tickets, sign up very quickly if you want a space, because they do go quickly. And it's a nice night. It's a 2-hour demonstration. So I do a lot of, it's all mostly messages, really. I don't do much teaching. It's mostly all messages. So go to vampprog.com and sign up for that if you'd like. Okay. And you never know what you're going to get. It was just amazing on Friday. Well, I remember once I did it, and some of you might have been there for this one, where the first thing I got through was a doll, a baby doll, and the doll's head was off. the trunk of the doll's the head was off. And said someone has their mother's head, the doll that belonged to them from their mother or something. And sure enough, it was a lady who had her doll that her mother gave her when she was a little girl, and her head had come off. So you never know how they're gonna what they're gonna use, what the spirit world uses the information to come through. And the reason why I think that mother used that weird, strange, odd, unique information evidence was because it was so odd and so different that that's how we found the person who received it, who it belonged to. Spirit recently started doing working with me in a different way when I'm doing Zoom, and they did this when I did Hay House radio, and it works much better. In that we just go to if you're meditating with the audience, I ask who you want to contact, who's the one person you'd like to contact, and then I tune into that person when I hear the recipient's voice. And many times that spirit will come in, but also other spirits come in instead of that person. It opens the door for someone else to come in. And many times, one spirit will open the door, and then someone else does come in. And it's very interesting because sometimes I have found that there are some spirits who are hesitant to come through. Not they're afraid, but it's a new process, so they're hesitant. And many times they'll stand back and watch somebody else do it first. The process of concentrating a thought to the medium's mind, a memory, an emotion, a feeling there, and then they will attempt it. And so, it's so interesting to see that happening. And I'm in the middle of it. You're on one side, they're on the other side, I'm here. And it's so interesting to watch that process. And the more we don't judge it, the more it can flow. The more we don't block it and demand, the easier the flow is. So I make sure that we establish that easy flow before we start the messages. So it's a great experience, and please come to the next one if you'd like. Okay. And also tonight, on tonight's show, Both Sides Now and Beyond with Kelly White, my good friend, we're going to talk about your spiritual toolbox, how to live in this life, because it's a hard time right now, and what to use in your tool belt, with a psychological or spiritual, to help you get through the hard times, because there's some hard times. We're not done yet. There's some hard times. This morning, as a matter of fact, I was at a hardware store getting some mesh fencing for my puppies, so to protect a certain space that they're in. And I had my cart, and I'm going to the cash register, and a lady goes, I saw this lady, and I said, "Oh, you have one item. Go before me." And she goes, "Well, I was in line." And I said, "Oh, thank you. I didn't know there was a line." I said, "But thank you for letting me know." So changing that energy around, because she was a little upset. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that I cut her off," but I was like, "I didn't know it. Oh, thank you for letting me know. I didn't realize it was a line. Thank you so much." Okay, so tonight's show, we're going to use the different methods, and different, how can I put it to you, things you can use to deal with situations in your life, people in your life, scenarios that come up, your perspective of things, and how you don't have to be depleted when you're with somebody. A lot of people depleted. And I spoke to a friend this morning, and was talking about Mother's Day, and certain people didn't behave like she wanted them to, and I was like, well, you can't control other people. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So your spiritual toolbox and your spiritual psychological toolbox, how to get through it. That'll be tonight at 6 o'clock. So there you go. Okay. So questions, if you have some, I'll answer some if you like. Sherry Connect, do emotions affect those spirits coming through? Very much, Sherry. Remember that we're spiritual, mental, emotional, physical beings, and the more emotion that they come through with love, that energy of love, which is the highest frequency there is, highest vibration. So, and I tune into that as high as I can go, and they come down as low as they possibly. But it's that energy of love that that's really transferring that loving energy to me and sending it. So the more love they have, the more emotional they are, the more effective the communication. The more that they are not emotional, or they just are quiet, is harder for me to receive them. Good question. Okay. This is Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Quite often when I'm meditating, I have dreams of faces and eyes coming toward me. I do not recognize many of them. Are these spirits? More than likely, Catherine, they're spirits. More than likely, they are. I don't think it's your imagination. I think it's the spirit world. And it might be just a calling card just saying to you that you have an ability of clairvoyance, that you might want to develop that. That's what that usually means. Okay. Kate, Daniel, do you prefer live appearances over Zoom or notice differences? Definitely notice differences, Kate. Very much so. I love in-person physical connections with people. I really love that, especially teaching. I love that. You have a group energy physically in the physical appearance. That is great. But Zoom for me also, it's a different animal. It's completely different in that you have the group energy, and when you focus that group energy, it's pretty powerful. And something I like in that when you're in a physical space, like a theater or a venue, the energy gets dissipated a bit. But I find even in Zoom, I find it much more concentrated, and I find that people can use their intention more, and it becomes more of a group dynamic, and that is great. That you don't have that in the live performance. I don't have it in the live performances, in the physical performance. I have it in the Zoom performances where the group becomes a real strong group, cohesive. I could put it that it becomes more cohesive. So, and regarding the quality of the messages, it's probably the same. Probably the same. I have to work quicker in Zoom, which I do, which I like, and I'm used to that from the radio show in Hay House I used to do. So that way I like it. So those are the differences. Okay. Let's see. Marilee, James, I listened closely to your appearance when your Maisie passed. Thank you. That you came to for a bit. It helped me as I had helped my bogey this weekend pass. My arms. Oh, it's a hard one. I held him tight, and since I placed healing stones in his bed. Thank you for sharing. It helps me now, sweetheart. I got to tell you that taught me so much when Maisie passed, because I didn't know what to experience. I mean, it really was 17 years of my life, and I was shocked. She taught me so much in the lifetime. She taught me so much, more than humans. I mean, she taught me so much. She was so happy to be released from that carcass, happy, and really just I was the happiest ever. And I'm gonna cry. And the happiest too was that the feeling I got was just that one feeling. It was a multi-sensory feeling, and that she was happy that I was happy that she was okay, and it was also a sense of gratitude from her, and affection from her. It was all of that together, and it was wound into a ball. And those animals are such great teachers of unconditional love, and I do believe that we're karmically tied with them. I definitely do. I think that they watch out for us. They teach us. One thing about you, you'll probably find, Marilee, that happened maybe with you. I hope. With me, which I did mention with Maisie, I never grieved her afterwards, and I still don't, because of course she's with me, like probably right now. I'm not aware of her, but I'm probably getting colder over here. Um, but because I think that I lived every moment with her, I lived the fullness of each moment. So when she left the body, there wasn't anything to grieve because I lived every moment. I think grief many times is you don't feel like you've done enough, or you weren't there when someone passed. You should have done more. At least with my animal, I did everything with her. We shared life, so that's a really help. And I didn't know that before she passed. She taught me that one too, because I didn't realize I could be like that. So, and I look forward to now shaping them, Pearl and Minnie's lives, because I know poor Maisie was knocked out, and I could already saw the photographs from the doggies, and they're two very different personalities, and but they'll be okay. I'll be the alpha male, so I'm going to be training them, and I'll be good at that. And you should get another baby too. Okay. Stephanie Harding, spirit guides, ancestors, and the Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost. What's the difference, and how to know? I love the term Holy Ghost. It's just so insane to me because it's just so religious. I'm like, oh, I grew up Catholic. Always the Holy Ghost. Woo! I don't know. Spirit guides, ancestors. Why can't they all be the same? Why do we put labels on things, right? So I would just say it could be. We just generalize it and say there are beings around us who we've shared many lifetimes, whether it's on this planet or other planets or other solar systems, who have shared our common sense of evolvement, expansion from their levels. Um, so you're getting into situations where you have beings that have shared lifetimes with us on the physical earth, but also beings that have not shared lifetimes. So there could be guides or ancestors. Ancestors usually refer to those who have lived on the earth before, right? But so I don't get caught up in labels, just realizing that there are spiritual beings that are around us, and are working for our highest good and their highest good. They're working together. And it's also a sense of the different levels that exist. So there might be a level here, and then a stepping down to another level lower, and then a stepping down to a lower level, and then a lower level. So they're all inspired by the higher levels. It actually comes to the earth mind. So remember that it's a stepping down. So it's not just one level of beings, there are other levels as well. Okay, great. Christine Feldman, how do I quiet the monkey brain? Oh, easy, Christine. You just sit quietly in a room and you concentrate on your breath and breathing in the nose, 4 counts or 5 counts, and exhaling out of the mouth for 3. Well, no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. And inhale longer. Inhale 2 seconds more, 2 seconds less, and exhale. So inhale 3, and out of your mouth 5. Inhale 3 and 5. And really, what you want to do with that is, I do it in a quiet space. And right now, having construction done, so you might hear some noise behind me. But I usually do it in a walk-in closet. I say this every week, which is okay. And I sit, and that's my time that I set up to have the intention to go into the quiet, to go into my soul self. And the quiet is very loud, actually. And when you're sitting there, you just want to surrender. I call it the surrender meditation, just getting out of your way and just really going into your heart space and just feeling that love of who you are as your soul, going to the soul, which is tucked behind the heart. And when you're doing that, you're using the breath to go guide you, the breath all the way through to the bottom of your feet, and you will get thoughts. You will get that monkey brain of certain things. What kind of food should I have? Or what kind of, should I close the door? Should I listen? Whatever. You're like, acknowledge that's there, and then go back to your breath and let it go by. It's going to happen. Fine. You don't have to hold on to it. So acknowledging it and then letting it go. Best way. Tanette, how do you get to the point to see apparition spirits that are, is it just constant regular meditation? No, it's sitting in the quiet. It's sitting in not meditation, it's being passive. It's surrendering, like I just said. And it's really working. I often would sit in development circles. They're called development circles. I have in my mediumship course number 1, which you should probably take if you're having apparitions, if you want to use that. But it's learning to quiet the mind, is what it is. So it's quieting the mind. And in a development circle with other people, you're sitting quieting the mind. And you're letting the spirit guides, teachers, beings behind you work with your energetic body. Okay. And expanding, if you will, your soul self. Right. So you can do that quietly by yourself sitting in the room, or you can work with them or do both and let them work on the energetic body and the auric field. So that's really what it's about. And it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You need to be molded. You need to really sit and let it develop. It's called development, developing it. It's like in the old days, there were black and white films, and you had to sit for days, and they had a developer process, and you put the film in a mixture to get the photos, and had to develop. Takes time. It's worth the time. I know as a medium that the most valuable experiences of my mediumship have been in the development process. They really have, because I found out more about my soul self, about my choice in life, who I am, how to integrate the brain, the heart, the mind, my awareness, my perception, the expansion. That happened in development. And we're always developing, by the way. We're always expanding. But the foundation happened in development. So that's really, really an important part of mediumship. And that's something you cannot rush. You have to sit, and everybody develops differently, and everybody develops at a different time. So it might take some a little longer than others. That's fine. At least you're doing it. So you're opening up the door, and it's up to you to sit quietly and patiently. And if you do that, the quality of the mediumship is better. There's a better quality to the mediumship. It's not rushed. It's not confusing. It's easy. It's natural. It's soothing. It's energetic. And it's lovely. And you're helping people with that. So you want to do it the right way. You don't want to be undercooked, right? Underbaked. You don't want to be what we call a mushroom medium, up over the night and gone during the day. It's a life changer. And if you do it too quickly, it can hurt the physical body in ways. The endocrine system can be affected badly, and you don't want that. You want to learn how to open yourself up, how to run your energy correctly, and close down correctly. And that's all in my Mediumship 1 course, by the way, for those who want to know where to go. So the JP School of Mystical Arts, it's where you want to look at that course about that. And we're just finishing up the new site for that, for the school. Okay. All right, Tenant. Megan Patrick, what angels can I call upon to help with physical healing? You can call on your healing guides. That's who you can call on. So I don't know enough about angels per se, but I know we all have healing guides, and you'd have to sit quietly and become start a relationship with your guides and become aware of the energy that's used with healing guides. So once again, here you go, Megan, sitting quietly to learn who works with you, who's your team, who's your healing team, who's your philosophers, who are your teachers, who are your guides, and that comes again with. I also have a course on the website for that, the school site about connecting with your guides. So you have to do the time and develop and learn how to do that, and it's worth it. So patience is needed. Okay. Hi, Lydia from Trinity, Florida. Susan Hall, my television keeps coming on at 3:30 in the morning. It happened 3 days in a row. Is someone, hopefully my daughter, letting me know she's okay? Well, Susan, I would think so, wouldn't you? Hello. So, Susan, what are you going to do then? Are you going to write down on a piece of paper at 3:30? I would have a journal and I'd start talking to her and start listening with your heart. And it's a thought that'll come into your head and you will get this thought and start writing it down. Don't think of it, feel it. Feel her love. She's trying to come through to 3:30 because your mind is at rest. You're not in the way, you're not blocking it. Otherwise you'd be blocking it and she couldn't get through. There's interference. There's brain mind interference. So when there's no interference at 3:30, she finds it's the easiest way to get through to you. So I would definitely pick up a journal and write down and listen to what she has to say to you. Okay. Very good, Susan. Marissa, any dreams of past relatives, just dreams, or is it them coming through? Have only seen them in my dreams. Marissa, usually the dream state is when you have connection with them or visit them because your soul is in the spirit side of life. And so it's easier for you. And sometimes a conscious mind will recall it or sometimes it won't. That's the number one way they come through. But once again, just like going back to Sue right before you, when there's interference, it's hard for them to come through. So when we're sitting thinking of come to me, come to me, come to me, you're interfering with this space above you, that mind space. And it's blocked. So it's harder for them to come through that way. So it would be much easier if you'd sit in the silence and the quieting your mind. Great book by White Eagle called The Quiet Mind, which everybody should be reading, Quieting the Mind. And because there's so much interference that if you wanted to talk to them and hear them clearly and with a quality aspect, then you need to quiet the mind and have no interference. Okay. Sherry, hi Sherry, hi James. I love you and your wisdom. Thank you. I met you in Pentacon, Canada. Oh yes, wow. We'll be back again. Thanks, Sherry. Not right now. Not planning it right now because I have puppies coming, and that's going to take all of my energy, as it has Maisie's. So not right now, but I was doing a lot of online. The next one is coming up, the VIP demonstration. So mostly it's going to be on the Zoom calls, Zoom one. Thanks, Sherry. There it is. Next one will be May 20th. And again, the seats are limited to 75 people and it will go quickly. So sign up now if you're at eventprog.com. Okay. Jody, right. When a human passes over, can they read other families' charts or their life or how their life ends? When a human passes over, okay, can they read other families' charts or how their life ends? Yes. Yes, they can indeed see what's there on the blueprint of other people. They can't interfere with another soul's lessons that from the other side. They can't do that. They can't give answers to tests because the soul has to go through those tests. And if they love them, they wouldn't give them the answers because that would hold that soul back from learning and expanding. So, but saying that, Jody, the person left on the earth there, let's say I believe there's a destiny point to leave the body, destiny point to come in, destiny point to leave. But I think our free will can sometimes affect that destiny point. So let's say you're at a club or a party and you decide to drink, over drinking or whatever it is, and you get in a car and have an accident and die. That could be because you chose to drink like that. Could it be your free will interfering? Hi, Carolyn from England. Hampshire. I've been to Hampshire. And our spirits always around us or just around us when we think of them. I think that they're always around us. I think that we're with them, but the human part of us is very much in a box, and that when they cross to our mind, I think that they're usually really sending us a thought. But I think that we step into that space all around us. I think there are different spaces, and that they're here, that they're all around us, just at a different frequency. Just like around us right now, Carolyn, there are all different types of rays around you: gamma rays, X rays, microwaves, radio waves. You don't see these things floating in the air, but they exist in the same space. You share the same space with them. Same thing with the spirit world. You share that space with them. They're just at a different frequency. That's really what it's about. Okay. Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie. Yesterday I went and had an aura photo done. Very good. Only two colors showed up, green and yellow. Is it normal for the aura to only be two colors around you? Um, don't think anything's precise. Okay. Never, I don't think anything's black and white. I think things are the way they are at that moment. So, um, no, usually could be just two colors, could be a blending of colors, could be usually there's one dominant color. But green and yellow, it's interesting. I'm working right now on a course of colors right now. Yellow is very mental stimulation, and green is usually healing and calmness. So you have two of them going on. Um, I think that the yellow, you're with yellow and green, you're overthinking things, obviously with the question too, and that the green is trying to bring you back to balance. And remember something too, Bonnie, that the aura, when you get aura photographs, that will only record, if you will, what state your mind and your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body are in at that moment that that picture is taken. It changes with every thought. So every thought creates a whole new field of colors around us. So that's interesting too. Okay. Okay. Milton Green. Hi, Milton Green. My goodness. Milton Green. I haven't seen Milton Green in years. Same Milton Green that we did the first psychic cruise, Milton. I think it is. Hi, Milton. Am I writing a new book? I am writing a new book. I'm writing two books right now. I'm writing a fictional book on crime, mystery, and then I'm writing a book about karma. So those two books, and I'm also developing courses. So I'm doing a lot and raising puppies. So good to see you, Milton. Okay. Abby, are you offering any course at the moment? Yes. Abby, if you go to JP School of Mystical Arts, the JP School of Mystical Arts, Mediumship One, I think is up. It's up for sale right now, and a lot of things are available. Everything's available, but the JVP Mediumship One is the one we're promoting right now. There it is, jpschoolmysticalarts.com. I advise everyone to go check it out because there might be something that resonates with you at this particular moment. I always feel that people that come onto this call, there's always a reason behind why they're here. And it's not just to talk to dead people or it's questions. I think there's sometimes a deeper meaning, or maybe it's a way to get to that school, to get to that experience of having that course, or which opens your life or changes your life in some way, because that's where that school was created. That was the intention behind it. So I always think that nothing happens by chance, nothing happens by accident. I think that things are meant to be. And if your soul feels to bring you to this space and to go on to the school and read the different subjects, and you feel, right now, I think that I like that one. And I have payment plans, all that, but nothing's really expensive. But there are payment plans for people too. And there's some free things on there as well, but they're very valuable. They're full. Each course is full. Some have 45 videos in one course, and they're really full. So you get all of me there. Okay. Greta, hi Greta. When people pass to the other side, is the biggest change death of ego? That's a good question, Greta. Very good question. So that's a very good one. Every time I see ego, edging God out. The ego is helpful if we use it correctly. I think that when you pass to that other dimension or that other level of awareness or consciousness, there's an opening of consciousness. So you're more aware of different things. And I think the ego mind, or the earth mind, if you want to call it that, you're aware that the earth mind, the ego, presented certain things, and you did things based upon either love or fear. And unfortunately, many people who pass over, when they first get to the other side, there's a life review, and many people see that they did something out of fear or not loving self, and it was presented to another person with fear, or judgment. So that's the only thing about that, which we have to be mindful of when we're living in this physical vibration, that which is not our home. This is just a temporary space, but we've got to do the best we can with the temporary space that we're in. Make it beautiful and treat others as you want to be treated. Kim Jacobs, do you believe if we all pray for Putin and his obvious wounded heart, we could change what is going on over there? I do think, Kim, if there are enough people who send love to him, that will affect him. I do. I do think that'll affect his soul self. Um, there's more. He's more on higher levels and the human level. There's more, of course, to him and to everyone. But I think if we do send absent healing, distant healing, if you will, thoughts with positivity and love, there might be a crack in the armor. I do believe that. That's where you're fighting the ego mind, the earth mind, and that could be lifetimes of fighting that and getting into that higher level of being. I think that's possible. Good question. Amy Erickson, I think my dad, who recently passed, visited me. Of course he did. Where else would he go? Right? He goes back to the love, the family. And his spirit felt sad and heavy. He passed from alcoholism. Aha. And I wonder if it was possibly he's still working through emotions even after he passes. Uh-huh. Yes, Amy, very, very much so. Many times alcoholics, I know my mom was an alcoholic. And I know that many, many times um, in that position, they look back at their lives and they feel, oh, I wasted some time because of the addiction. And I feel bad because I didn't fully live my life out, or I was not aware of things because I was medicating myself. That does happen quite a bit. And they have to go through that a little more turmoil of mind, I guess you'd say, but a troubled mind in that. They go to healing spaces. They go to like a hospital, healing hospital, if you will, healing of the mind. And they realize they had an addiction. And the earth world is this place of addictions. This is the school we come back to work out addictions. We all have addictions, every one of us. This is the place to work them out, to not let them overtake you. This is the place. And I was thinking about that recently, and I know someone who has an addiction, and they're going to come see me soon. And I thought to myself, wow, all I want to say to that person is she keep the eye on the ball, keep her eye on the ball. It's really, really important to keep your eye on the ball. Don't be distracted. Keep your eye on the ball. Be true to yourself. It's hard because it's genetic as well. So, but I really do feel that there's so much love and compassion over there helping them. And if we could send love and compassion to your dad, you could send it to him. He would really appreciate that. Would help with his healing. Same with some suicides. Some people complete suicide for different reasons. There are all different types of suicides and all different types of intentions and motivations and so forth. But many times, the spirit feels when they pass over that they are sorry for what they left behind, the loved ones left behind. And one of the best things we could do with that is sending them love, that we're okay and we love them no matter what. Best thing we could do. Same with this situation. Thanks, Amy. Jeanette Ramirez. I did my first paid mediumship reading the other day and it went great. Thank you, James, for what you have taught me. I'm extremely grateful. Oh, great, Jeanette. I'm very proud of you. Very good. Keep it going. Keep on developing, Jeanette. Very good. Glad you felt that and you got into that. Continue. Continue the good work. Megan Patrick, thanks so much for your stories. Oh, you make my heart smile. Oh, thanks, Megan. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Uh, Okay. Jenna Daniels, what would be the reason someone cannot move past their grief when someone passes, and how can I help someone with that? Well, Jenna, I'm actually doing a grief course coming up too. It's going to be a weekly course actually that I'm going to be doing Zoom with, and there's many, many reasons behind why people are holding on to the grief. There's so many. There really is, and in the grief course, I'll talk about that. But yeah, I have to realize there's so many things that are unsaid, unfinished business, undone, unrealized, the possibilities for the future, relationship. There's so many different things that people want to relive. They want to recapture. They want to hold on to that, and they can't. So that's part of the reason, and it's regrets, if you will, shoulda, woulda, coulda. So there's a lot of different reasons why. So the best way, I think, there again, this is very simplistic because each individual experience is so different. But getting to the core of the matter, which is love of self, love that you might talk about how your loved one felt your love, and you loved them as best as you could at the time. You did the best you could. That's all it's ever asked of you. So that's the best way I think to handle something like that. Okay. Okay, so tonight's show is our a spiritual tool belt. So, what you can use to help your life, assist your life, whether it's going through grief, whether it's going through death, whether it's going through bad people in your life, bad job, whatever it might be, and also psychologically, how you can deal with people psychologically that or recognize certain psychological behaviors that you should know about, especially dealing with dynamics with people. So, hopefully, we'll see you tonight at 6. And also, I hope you come to the VIP demonstration that will be selling out. So vampprog.com if you'd like to register for that. And I'll see you soon. Thank you for sharing this space. And I'm going to go to the JV School of Mystical Arts right now. Okay. Bye bye, everyone.